One Jalen Hurts, maybe a value play in the MVP race?
Absolutely. It's always fun to watch the national media and then the public um, disrespect these quarterbacks that have supreme talent. Your Lamar Jacksons, your Patrick Mahomes, your Russell Wilsons, your Jalen Hurts. I still feel like the national media and subsequently the fans don't know how to gauge the athletic quarterback. They always view it in terms of, well, the position is played this one way. But when you have someone
come buckled up with your state vodka glass, and we're gonna pour a little out for the homies. And next up, I have one of my homies. He is the czar of the playbook, joining us on the Football Playbook. Emory Hunt, Football Gameplan, CBS Sports, always moving and shaking. Good morning, Emory. Thanks for hopping on, brother.
Good morning, Rick. Good to see you, man. Looking all fresh and everything. Love to be on the show.
We're trying over here. I don't have the Emory Hunt suits on. Little too early for you to get dressed up, but you're always styling and profiling like Clyde Frazier, and always a pleasure. I know you're all over the place for CBS HQ. I know you do some broadcasting for ESPN. We got a whole slate of matchups on deck for this upcoming weekend. Are you going to be on location broadcasting any games this weekend?
I only have a high school game this weekend. It's in East Pennsboro, Pennsylvania, so right outside Harrisburg. Getting over there Friday night, and on Saturday I'm all over CBS Sports HQ breaking down week 1 of college football.
Yeah, you are all over it, and I want to pick your brain on that in just a second. But hey, the Football Playbook show here, my new audience is getting used to some of my old regular guests, but we do have a slew of people that might be being introduced to you for the first time. They shouldn't be, but if they are, just tell the people at home where you're from, where you're repping, what you do, some things you got going on.
Born and raised in New Orleans, played my college ball at the University of Louisiana, home of the Raging Cajun. That's a jersey you see in the background, my old stomping grounds. And lived in Jersey since 2005 and started Football Gameplan in 2007. We just celebrated our 15th year anniversary. So we're excited about that. Started grinding on the website. YouTube, we started in 2009 before anybody was out there on YouTube. Podcasting before anybody was out there in 2011. Kind of snowballed into some TV opportunities. And next thing you know, I'm broadcasting college football games. And you now see me on CBS Sports HQ and also all over TV, whether it's digital TV, cable television, satellite television. It's been a tremendous glow up since we started back in 2007.
Yeah, it's a can't stop, won't stop situation. And I'm always crossing paths with Emory on the scouting trails. We're both zigzagging the country throughout the year. So always a pleasure to talk football with him off the air, and always a pleasure for my listeners on the air. So let's do some of that. Now, we're very Philadelphia orientated here at the Football Playbook. So we're going to kick off with some Eagles chatter. And, down at the Ocean Casino, you can find some wagering values. And I'm looking at the MVP race because I saw you on CBS HQ, and you were heaping roses on the one Jalen Hurts, maybe a value play in the MVP race.
Absolutely. It's always fun to watch the national media and then the public disrespect these quarterbacks that have supreme talent. Your Lamar Jacksons, your Patrick Mahomes, your Russell Wilsons, your Jalen Hurts. I still feel like the national media and subsequently the fans don't know how to gauge the athletic quarterback. They always view it in terms of, well, the position is played this one way. But when you have someone that can affect the game on both ends of offense, you're getting tremendous value, for in terms of MVP odds. I was ahead of the curve on Patrick Mahomes, ahead of the curve on Lamar Jackson. So I'm trying to get everyone to get ahead of the curve on Jalen Hurts. You want to play these odds right before the season, before people start to see the evidence, because a lot of people we know, Rick, tend to be, I need to see it before I saw it already. So if we're telling you right now, Jalen Hurts is the guy with this stacked offense behind this very good offensive line, the significant improvements on defense. So that means he's going to get a lot of these bonus possessions back. And if you remember, he had like 5 or 6 touchdown passes that were taken back due to penalty, something weird like that we hadn't seen in the NFL. So he was putting up the numbers last year, and now his second consecutive season in the same system, something he hadn't had since high school, I think he's about to go bananas.
All right, there you have it. When Emory Hunt says it, you better pay attention. So you're looking for a good value play in the MVP race. Jalen Hurts it is. And yeah, he accounts for a lot of touchdowns, both via the air, and I think he had maybe 10 last year via the ground. So we shall see. While we're talking Eagles, then let me ask you this, because they went out and got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Shout out to the Prez, Zach Petraw. His poor Vikings scooped up Jalen Reagor. But Chauncey Gardner-Johnson moved the needle a little bit, because I checked out some of the sportsbook odds, and where Dallas was the clear-cut favorite in their opinion to win that division, some sportsbooks now have moved the Eagles even or neck and neck with the Cowboys. How do you see the NFC East playing out here?
Yeah, that's the biggest telltale sign, right? When you look at Philly on paper, they have a really good roster on both sides of the ball. Dallas has a really good roster, but they also have the experience. We've seen Dallas, win the division before. We've seen them win with this particular roster they have now. Now, granted, they're going to be dealing with a few injuries, some key ones, but for the most part, we've seen this team perform. We still haven't seen the Eagles perform yet in this iteration in terms of all the pieces that they've added, but you love the fact that they've added talented players on defense. I thought that was a major issue last year, more so than people want to make it about the offense. It was the defense couldn't stop anybody. So you improved on defense on paper, and if it plays out how it looks right now on the 2 deep, then you have to side with the Eagles. It's going to become a situation where if the Eagles can split with the Cowboys, they win the division. If they don't split, if they get swept by the Cowboys, then the Cowboys win the division. That's how razor thin I see this division. I think both teams will go to the playoffs. Both teams have a legitimate shot to go far in the playoffs, but in this division is all going to be whether or not the Eagles can win one against Dallas. If they can do that, they'll win the division.
You're right. That Dallas series could ultimately dictate the division, and if they get swept by the Cowboys, they can forget about winning the NFC East. Not getting a lot of respect in terms of Super Bowl odds. They're not even considered to be one of the top 10 teams according to the Vegas odds, so maybe a little bit of a surprise there in the NFC. But outside of the Eagles, give me an NFC team here. I kind of see the Rams and the Bucks. I know a lot of people like the Green Bay Packers. I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers believer when it comes to winning the big game. I know he's got one ring, but what I've seen lately, I'm not putting the Packers in that upper echelon. I am putting the Rams there. I think the Bucks are in a tier 2, maybe by themselves. Is there any other NFC teams that you might put up there as a dark horse candidate?
The New Orleans Saints. They've beaten the Bucks every time in the regular season since Tom Brady has gotten there. Jared Cook was the reason why they lost a game in the playoffs to Tom Brady during his first season with the fumble as they were going into score to go up double digits. So the Saints have their number. They're very good on defense. I know they just lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but they get tremendous help back on offense. They get Jameis Winston back healthy. We saw what Jameis Winston looked like last year post LASIK surgery. We'd never seen that Jameis before because throughout his entire college career, national championship, Heisman Trophy winner, Pro Bowl career in for the season out there in Tampa, he did all of that blind. So now you're looking at a guy that has corrected eyesight that is in his 3rd year of this system with Pete Carmichael calling the plays and a defense that's arguably the best in the NFC. The Saints, they have the confidence, they have the mojo, they have the talent, they've added pieces to that defense. They've gotten the best receiving core they've had since Marcus Colston and Robert Meacham and Joe Horn, all those guys. So you're going far back. This core with Landry, Olave, a healthy Michael Thomas when he gets back out there, and Marquez Callaway, who was their number 1 last year, is now their number 4. Deontay Hardy, who already has rapport with Jameis Winston, and you don't get a suspension from Alvin Kamara all season.
Yeah.
This Saints team is tailor-made to make a deep run. I think that's your dark horse to get to the Super Bowl.
That's a good one. And, Michael Thomas has to be healthy. He also has to be motivated because I think last year he wasn't really – his head wasn't in the game. And now this year they come in, fresh start. If Winston stays healthy, look out. I think he could throw for 5,000 yards. I really do. I thought he was going to be the NFL comeback player of the year last year. I might have been a year too early there. I could see if he stays healthy, right? There's a lot of ifs there in New Orleans, but if he does, they could be maybe in that tier 2 category. All right, give me a team in the AFC where the NFC is really wide open. The AFC, you kind of have a couple kings like the Bills, the Bengals. I'll still keep the Chiefs in there. Trying to run through one of those teams is going to be difficult. Even the Ravens with that defense and a motivated Lamar Jackson looking for a new contract. I think that's your cream of the crop there in the AFC. And then you've got tier 2 teams that are really good. Give us a dark horse candidate in the AFC.
And I'm glad you layered it that way, because when you're talking about tier 2, outside of those teams you mentioned, I look at Miami. I feel like Tua is angry. He's tired of all the naysayers. He's tired of hearing his name and every quarterback that comes available being attached to Miami. I like this attitude that we've seen from him coming out of training camp. And you factor in they've added explosive talent on a perimeter. So it doesn't take a deep throw to really ring up that cash register. It takes a short pass, which these receivers in Waddle and Hill can take a long way. And I think the biggest benefit for Miami this year is the fact that they've added, finally, talent in the backfield. Chase Edmonds. You also look at the reserve that they had. They added him too. I can't remember. Mostert. So you got speed and explosiveness. Edmonds is a baller. We remember him way back at Fordham. So this kid now is their starter. Mostert is their backup. So you see the theme here: speed and explosiveness, a motivated Tua, and a defense that was already good. Keep in mind, I think we look at how well they played the Patriots. They've beaten the Patriots. They've beaten the Jets. I feel like this team can go, can win double-digit games and get in the playoffs. And once you get into the postseason, we know it's all about a break here, a break there. We just saw the Bengals do it last year. So the Dolphins, to me, are one of these teams that are flying under the radar.
I think they got a legit shot. I think they're a better team than New England. Oh, by the way, adding Tyreek Hill doesn't hurt either. I guess you're buying in on this Mickey McDaniel.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Anytime you get a coach that understands the value of the run game, I'm all in. And, as much as, people want to talk about it's a passing league, is passing this, passing that, you have to be able to own the line of scrimmage, run the football. And I think when you add a Mike McDaniel in there, you're going to get that coming off that Shanahan tree. They understand the value of the run game. Plus, you have game breakers in the backfield. So I'm all in on what they want to do out there offensively.
All right, spoken like a true running back. We shall see. Mike McDaniel there in Miami. All right, I want to pick your brain on the couple college football games. Before we do, I've been trying to pick up some Super Bowl predictions from our guests as best I possibly can. I know it's early. A lot can change. But early on here, who you got going to the big dance?
I'm going to go off the beaten path. I'm going to go Baltimore and New Orleans. A healthy Ravens team. This team was 8-3 with all of those injuries until the key cog, Lamar Jackson, got hurt. So imagine a healthy Lamar and a healthy Ravens bunch. That to me is a given, in my opinion. And I just laid out all of the reasons why the Saints have the best team in the NFC. And I think that's a team that is now ready to go. And even though they lose Sean Payton, but they still have a lot of continuity in that building. Pete Carmichael and Dennis Allen have been there under Sean Payton. The play callers don't change. The philosophy doesn't change. And the talent just got increased. So I see Baltimore, New Orleans getting to the big dance.
Okay. Some big praise for the Saints there, whose win total is only at 8.5. So if you're looking for a value play there, hey, Emory's saying they should surpass 9 victories. Okay. You mentioned Lamar Jackson. Let me ask you about that because speaking of Tua, he was out there liking a photoshopped image of him in a Dolphins uniform. We hear conflicting reports if he wasn't offered a big money contract. The news of Russell Wilson just came down the wire today. $49 million annually. Aaron Rodgers, $50 million annually. The salary cap expected to jump up about $15-20 million next year. What is Lamar Jackson going to command here on the open market? Are the Baltimore Ravens going to give it to him, do you think?
That's the great question. Are they going to give it to him? Because he can command just as much as Patrick Mahomes. We're talking about a reigning MVP, has an MVP under his belt, has gotten his team to the playoffs every year outside of last year that he's been the starter. You think about what he did as a rookie, getting thrown in the mix, getting that team, saving jobs, and getting them to the playoffs as well in a game against the Chargers. So he is the ultimate weapon. I know that gets thrown out a lot. We remember seeing that on the cover of Sports Illustrated with Randall Cunningham. Well, this kid is the ultimate weapon. He is the Baltimore Ravens. He is the offense. And if he is allowed to get to the open market, 49 to 50 with the increase, because again, people focus on the number when it comes out, not looking at it 5 years from now. Look at Dak Prescott when he got signed, and Dak Prescott's a top 5 to maybe 8 quarterback in the NFL, and so he's getting paid like a 8 to 10 now, based off how everything has grown. So whatever number comes out, don't get hung up on it because it's going to grow, because we know football is the most popular sport in this country, and the salary cap will continue to go up. So I think he can command $50 million based off what he is to an offense, let alone the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, he got 10 years, 450 million, 45 million per year. However, that's looking like a bargain. Only 63 million guaranteed too. Russell now has 165 million guaranteed coming to him. We already know Deshaun Watson has 230 million guaranteed coming to him. And oh, by the way, Kyler Murray, 160 guaranteed at 46.1 million. I would imagine Lamar Jackson's going to command more than Kyler Murray, especially with that salary cap jumping up. Hey, he's Emory Hunt, the Football Game Plan, czar of the playbook on the Football Playbook. Switching gears here, we have you for a few more minutes. Let's talk some college football. I saw you on CBS HQ just this morning. We had Dane Vandernat on a minute ago previewing that Central Michigan Oklahoma State matchup tonight. Maybe a little upset in the making.
Yeah, people sleep on Central Michigan, man. I remember, studying Central Michigan in preparation for the NFL draft. They had 2 NFL draft picks along the offensive line. Yeah, Pimpleton, who played, I believe, in the NFLPA Bowl, wide receiver specialist. So I'm studying those guys. I'm like, I was just enamored with how well they play football. And I shouldn't be surprised because it's Jim McElwain. So they're really good up front, foundational, point of attack team on both sides of the ball. Great running back in Lou Nichols, who's an NFL prospect. And their offensive line is still good despite losing 2 NFL prospects up front. And defensively, they're solid, they're sound, and they're facing the Oklahoma State team that lost a lot of production at the second level, at the linebacker level, along that defensive front. So when you're talking about a team stopping the run and having to stop the run, and now you have to break in some new guys at the second level, I think it's prime for an upset. And Central Michigan doesn't get blown out in these Power 5 matchups. The last time they played Oklahoma State, remember that game was a wild game with Cooper Rush, the Hail Mary at the end.
Was it really? Okay.
It was Oklahoma State, and that was in 2019, I believe, or 17. And last year, they go toe-to-toe with these Power 5 schools. They don't get blown out. So 21.5 seems like so many points against a team that's solid and well coached like Central Michigan.
Hey, you sold me. I'm taking that, and I like the hook too. So there you have it, Central Michigan. All right, before we let you go, let's look ahead. We'll have more on the upcoming Saturday games tomorrow on the Football Playbook. But give me a matchup or give me a prospect that you're watching this weekend.
Florida, Utah, I am circling that game because, one, I feel like people are underestimating the Florida Gators and what they're going to be able to do with their run game. So this is a fantastic matchup, number one. But I'm looking at Anthony Richardson because I think he is the number 1 quarterback prospect in this draft class. He has a height, weight, speed that you look for, the athleticism that you look for. He's going to take the meteoric rise this year because he's going to be the full-time starter, no back and forth with Emory Jones. He's paired up with a fantastic coach in Billy Napier, who has a supercharged version of Levi Lewis, who was excellent for the Raging Cajuns. I feel like Anthony Richardson is going to put on a show against this Utah team that is still giving up touchdowns to Ohio State in that Rose Bowl game. So I feel like we should see a fun matchup here. I do like Florida to win, but Anthony Richardson is the guy to watch in this ball game.
Could very well be that number 1 quarterback that comes off the board come April. He flashed the potential last year. Right now, he's got to kind of put that body of work together for a full season. And Dane had just come on and mentioned about change the narrative, right? You showed us the glimpses of potential. Now show us you can do it for the whole season. And yeah, there's no limit to how far Anthony Richardson can ascend up draft boards. And of course, Emory Hunt puts out a draft guide that you will definitely want to get. You will want to go to Football Gameplan and pick up all his books, listen to all his interviews, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you stay tuned to his TV shows. Anything else I'm forgetting, Emory? I think you need another job.
All right. Just keep it locked on F-Ball Game Plan on Twitter. You'll see me calling high school games. You'll see me calling college football games starting next weekend. So we got a lot of fun coming down the pike on Football Game Plan and on that Twitter account as well.
Always a pleasure, my man. Enjoy the football week, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you and seeing you around.
Looking forward to it, man.